next game. Washington football team at the Falcons. It's pretty much a pick 'em right now. Maybe Washington football team -1 I see out there. But we got a like hit, a total of 49, but we got a like Soundman. You got a like here on the Washington football team?
Yeah, sadly, I like my team this week. As I said in week one, I think I can probably predict their whole record week by week. So we'll start here. I think we'll get our second win here. We obviously got embarrassed last week, in which I knew we were going to do. These Falcons, they're really not putting up too much of any points or any offensive anything for that measure. Obviously, it took them a last-second field goal to win against the Giants. Pretty much torched us the week before. I think just judging how the Falcons played the Giants and how we played the Giants and all the talk that's coming out of Washington, obviously everyone's pissed off. My team is trash. Our defense sucks. But I think this could be a game that we get after this old quarterback, which is Rome's guy, Matt Ryan. I think we can get him, rattle him, and somehow put up some points against this Falcons team to win. Washington football team, Twitter, and the whole world is going crazy over Ron Rivera. They're calling for his head right now. I think this is a game. It just gets his guys back in check, hopefully, and just get a win on the road in Atlanta. And then it's a pick 'em. Like, I think, I'll take Washington to win this game if I have to pick. So,
All right. Love Washington. Rome, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, so I just want to point out a stat here thus far through 3 weeks. Favorites of less than 2.5. They're 1-5 on the line in terms of covering. So, if the Washington football team is laying this one, which it seems it might be closing on Sunday, I would be hesitant to play that, specifically on a team that, hasn't shown any offensive life and, a defense that was supposed to be, showing up and they obviously haven't. And I think what's very important to note here is the total's 49. Last week on a short week, Washington football team had a lower total, but we also thought that was high, and that game goes over. So with the total at 49 and a defense that hasn't been showing up and a Falcons offense that seems like they want to catch a stride this week at home, I think what we saw last weekend with the Falcons in New York was defense. I think it wasn't necessarily, when we see low scoring games, they're quick to say it's a defensive game. I don't think it was that. I think it was a lot of miscommunication in terms of Matt Ryan and a lot of Cordell Patterson having to make some things happen late in that ball game, but they simply just don't have playmakers on the outside and skilled players that are producing right now. We know Kyle Pitts, we know Calvin Ridley, but they're just not getting involved under that new Arthur Smith offense. But, with this total at 49, I would be looking to play this over simply because that number is pretty high. As I said, going back to these points I just said, for two offenses that hasn't been able to get going. So somebody knows something here with that total at 49. Like I said, Washington football team game was over last week. And, they found a way to put up points. It was ugly. They still lose. Giants cover. I'm sorry. But
Bills cover.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going back to the short week that they had. Obviously, the Bills, they only, they get routed up there in Buffalo. But I'm more so going back to that short week against the Giants in which the total was low. They had a short week, and that game still goes over. So here you go, full week. Get embarrassed in Buffalo, back on the road again this week, and here's another high total. A team that only scored, was it 17 points, 14 points this past weekend?
17.
So, I mean, for a total at 49 and a Falcons team that scored, 17 points as well in a win this week?
Right.
So that they collectively score, what's that, 34 points?
Yep.
And here we are, week 4, and now the total's 49. So I would be looking to play this over. I just want to watch this number as the week progresses, but I thought that was eye-popping out for this game.
All right, Keith, what do you think about this game? Washington football team at the Falcons, about to pick them, total 49.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Falcons here. It's a little more. I feel like I definitely echo a lot of the Rome sentiments in terms of I've definitely been where I'm not sharp this year. I feel like I've been getting burned at those games where there's a very low fave. You know what I mean? It honestly could go either way, and it's just not been going that way. And I think it's because I do have the tendency to ride with, what is perceived to be the better team. Vegas is probably usually right with that. That's why they're the favorite. And then they're just not been covering it of late. So I don't understand why. Honestly, these are two bad teams. How bad they are is literally, it depends on who they're playing that week. They happen to be playing each other, who are two bad teams. I'm gonna go with the hotter team at home right now to cover the 1 point. Probably win outright, honestly.
And I wanted to piggyback on what you just said, because these low spreads, like I said, they're 1-5 favorites under 2.5. But as you said, Vegas seems to think, the line is a line for a reason, right? These teams are laying points for a reason. But Vegas is also talking about sharps in Vegas are also talking about how this home field advantage isn't a true 3 anymore. Teams that are going on the road, they're finding ways to find success, cover, win outright as dogs. And so now it's making the sharps think, maybe home field advantage isn't worth 3. And if that's the case with a line at Pick'em, this line would say Falcons get 2 at home. I've been in that dome. That's not worth 2 on, in the Mercedes-Benz dome. It's simply not. They're very iffy, and especially with the roster they have this year, they're not packing that dome. So why are they worth 2 if that on a line? This line obviously says at Pick'em, Washington football team is the better team on paper, but I would just be cautious to note that you can't just give 3 to every team being at home. So I think this line is a little closer than it usually is, or it would, come off to be if you're automatically adding 3 to the home favorite for that home field advantage.
Yep. For me, I'm just gonna lean with the Washington football team here. With the pick 'em. I just think the Washington football team, they are the better collective team right now. I think Matt Ryan is kind of done. I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, he's kind of done. So the passing game is just not there right now. They got a lot to just grow with there. They got no backup plan either. Them and the Steelers are kind of similar to me. I know we'll get to the Steelers a little later, but I just lean with the Washington football team here. A lot of defense, but it was possible. It was really going to be a like for me. But the Washington football team on defense right now is just crazy bad. Third down percentage on defense, they're giving up 58% on third downs, which is 31st in the league. I cannot back a team like that. So it's just a lean with me. But I think they'll beat these Falcons, who are just unimpressive on offense, and that's all they got right now is offense, and they can't do anything with it because of their quarterback. So I'm gonna lean with the Washington football team, minus the point or whatever. Pick them.